So welcome to the Tribe Table.
Thank you.
We're very excited to have you here.
Yeah.
So you were snagged from the Filmmakers Lounge down the street here at Bentonville Film Festival. You flew in on a red eye and you look fabulous for having done that. Thank you very much. So tell us a little bit about why you flew in here to have a movie screen. So you have a short.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about it.
Yes. My short film is called Empire on Main Street. I'm the director. My husband, who's here, is the producer. And it's about a lesbian restaurateur who started 4 businesses in a small town called Guerneville, which is where I live, and revitalized this neglected vacation town. But along the way, sacrificed a marriage and a bit of her sanity. And so it's really about the struggles of a small business owner anywhere on Main Street. Yeah, following her dream. Exactly.
How do you get all of that into a short?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's a long short. It's a 24-minute short.
Okay, that seems like, wow. Okay, good. So what inspired, obviously it's in the town that you live in. So what inspired the film?
So we moved up to Guerneville from San Francisco about 10 years ago, and over the course of the time that we were there, we saw the town just transform, and we realized that the businesses that were opening up were all owned by the same woman, and we approached her about 4 years ago and asked if we could follow her around with a camera. And we didn't really know where the film was going to go. We thought it could be a history of this small town and looking at the revitalization. And she just ended up being the most interesting story to us. She's very charismatic. Her name is Krista Ludke. And we got into her personal story and found out that she did, in fact, have one marriage fail and was in a new relationship. And during the time that we knew her, she started a new project. And it really took a lot out of her, and we sort of saw the entire struggle start to finish. So it just became a really captivating story for us about sort of coming of middle age, finding out what you are capable of doing and when it's too much.
That's amazing. So it's kind of documentary. It's a documentary, essentially.
Yes.
So, and a lot of shorts, not a lot, but some are not, because documentaries tend to be long and you follow for a long time. So women in entrepreneurship. So we are a tribe of women, and so women in entrepreneurship is definitely one of our focus areas, simply because it is a very lonely journey. They're, businesses made by men for men, and so moving into that space as a woman is sometimes a little bit of a struggle as well. And then of course you've got work-life balance, which actually doesn't exist, work-life integration. So what are some of the key discoveries that you found that pertain specifically to women entrepreneurs?
Well, I definitely was interested in following this story because I was inspired by Krista. I thought that her story was dynamic, of somebody who really wanted to follow this life and pursued it with so much ambition. But I also saw the toll it took on her and how much dedication you have to have and where the struggles are. Personally, I've worked for 20 years actually in documentary film as an editor. That's been my trade. And this is my first directing debut.
Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So I personally know what it is like to be a working mom and to have to balance my 2 daughters as well as full-time work in film. I've been blessed to work with some really wonderful directors who also understand work-life balance, and I'm able to work from home, which makes a big difference in my being able to juggle everything.
Sometimes there's also the whole hi, I've got to go talk to my kids real quick, I'll be back in just a minute, or the dog's barking or whatever.
Exactly. So I think it's a struggle for women in every field. I also am blessed with a husband who cooks and
so important.
does a tremendous amount to support my career as well, and I think that's critical, is having men as allies, right?
Yes.
So
good men.
Yeah.
We need a lot of them.
We need a lot of them, exactly. So this is certainly something that is near and dear to my heart. Just working women, realizing what we can do and not beating ourselves up when we can't do it.
Exactly. So I don't want you to give any of the film away necessarily. Are you still following her story? And is this something that will come out at more length in the future, or is this okay, this project is done, moving on to the next one?
During the course that we were filming, we both became really good friends and also started developing a food and travel TV series that has taken us around to Cambodia and Sweden and Germany. So we are in development on that, and she is great on camera, and so we just feel like that could be a really great episodic documentary series.
Are you on a festival circuit, a festival journey?
We are, yes. We started the festival circuit on the West Coast. So we did Cinequest, Sonoma International Film Festival. We played at Blackbird Film Festival in Portland. We're here. We're very excited to be here. We're also going to be going to Greenwich. Montclair is also this weekend. We are going to Cannes. And then
that's exciting. Well,
yeah,
it's really tough to have to go to Cannes. Boy, that's a rough life.
I know. No, but it's been really exciting, and we've had a really wonderful response to our film. So we're just riding the wave right now. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Okay, so we are a tribe of women. We do recognize, and this is our third year at the Bentonville Film Festival. And so when we started, it really was, women in film, and then it has evolved to diversity and inclusion, and it continues to evolve to include all kinds of different people, because Tribe of Human is the ultimate goal, I think, for the festival, for us. It's just always going to be. So at the same time, do you have a tribe of women that are in your life that have either supported you or inspired you, and maybe even specifically inspired you to be a filmmaker in some way?
Absolutely. Not only do I have a strong group of friends, female friends in San Francisco who are all professionals and very accomplished in their fields, I have worked with mostly female filmmakers, mostly directors, and they have definitely inspired me. One of the first women that I worked with was a woman named Peyton Wilson, and we did a documentary about Navy fighter pilots together, and went out on an aircraft carrier and watched planes land on an aircraft carrier, and it was tough and sort of masculine, but we were a bunch of chicks doing it, and that was amazing. And then I did 2 films with Jennifer Siebel Newsom, Misrepresentation and The Mask You Live In. Yes.
You did?
I'm the writer and editor of those.
Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to cry now. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. I can't stop talking about those films.
Yes.
And a lot of the reason is because Misrepresentation, well, first of all, huge inspiring film that kind of started about the time Tribe of Women started. Okay. And the second part was that then you did The Mask You Live In, and then it became the Representation Project. And to me, that was so much. So guess what? You've inspired me. So much about saying, okay, we need to start with women supporting women, but men live in a box too, right? Men have this man box that they live in, the mask they live in, that they're challenged with a lot of things. And so, it's not just about either or. It's about the whole. So, I'm so excited. That makes me even more excited to meet you.
Yeah. I'm honored to have been able to work on those films, and they've had an incredible impact. Honestly, everybody I speak with who has seen them just tells me that they're quite inspiring.
And eye-opening, yes.
Yeah, very eye-opening. And I agree. I feel like we can't talk about the things that we've generally talked about as women's issues are in fact men's issues too, and we can't have that conversation without talking about men. So,
exactly. I love it. Well, we are a tribe of women, but we have, and within it, we say we are building cultures of women supporting women and more good men.
Yeah.
Because I think that men need to see more good men in order to be more good men.
Exactly.
So I think that's amazing. I'm so excited. I'm like, yay! I struck gold. Struck gold at
as we
Bentonville
say
Film
in
Festival.
Misrepresentation, you can't. If you can't see it, you can't be it. And I think
that's what
that's
they're
the motto of
saying here at Bentonville Film
Divas
Festival.
Well. Yes.
It is. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. Well, I hope the Representation Project continues on and continues representing.
Yes, we're working on our 3rd film now. So.
You are.
Yes.
Okay, what can you say about it? Anything?
I will say that it looks at inequality in America through a gendered lens, and we look at sort of how our gendered values in America have created some of the inequality and sexism and racism that we're still struggling with today.
One of the things that we work with a lot and we feel like is at the core, the base, we have to start with bias. gender bias, and just kind of, and it's not that we all have it. We all have biases, the gamut of it. It's just being conscious of what they are, that I don't think that we're very good at. It's not bringing it up because we don't want to have the tough conversations. A lot of the time, we don't want to have the difficult and uncomfortable conversations about that. So one of the things that I'll ask you just in general about that, one of the other things that we talk about is equity and equality.
Yes.
And in the way that I put it is that equity is the path to equality. We have to give everybody the same tools. So for instance, we are asking women to go and make it in a man's world because business was built by men for men. But we're not going to ask them to do that without tools any more than we would ask men to go home and take care of the children. We have generations of passing down how to take care of kids and the home and all of these other things that we have. And I'm not saying that this is the right way to do it, but generations of that. And so just to say, here you go. So giving men, one, the opportunity, and two, the tools, and vice versa for women, to me is the definition of equity as opportunity, right? And access to those things. And that equality is that everybody is treated the same, does the same, gets the same. Equity is kind of that stepping stone to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's also interesting to look at what we do value in this country. And what we don't tend to value what we have termed women's work. We don't value education. We don't value professions in education. We don't value the service industry, which largely falls on the shoulders of women. So we don't value women who are in the service industry at all. So if we start looking at how we can, through policy, through systemically, build up those infrastructures to support them with a living wage, that will go so far to creating a life where it's sustainable, and then they are able to move towards greater equality. So I do believe it really does come down to values.
I absolutely agree. It's when we do workshops, that's the first thing we start with is the person, the self, and values, which of course equate to our whole values as a family, as a person, as a family, as a company, as a culture, as a world. I'm so excited to have met you.
Absolutely.
This is amazing.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad we got to dig down a little bit and uncover that movie, because it definitely is a foundation and an inspiration. So
I'm so glad to hear it.
Thank you. And I'm glad you have a good tribe of women, and hopefully you'll become part of our tribe of women.
I would love to.
Thank
you so much.
I appreciate you being here. It's awesome.
Sometimes I need to unplug. Sometimes I've got to reboot. Sometimes I just want to sleep. But I always want to connect with you. Get into Brew Moods, aromatherapy lotions powered by a mindfulness app.